Alright guys, C2 here. If you're clicking on this video, you probably are looking to start playing Guardian Tales, or you have no idea if the character you just got from your polls are good or not. So there are a few topics I want to go over today in this video. So basically how to reroll and which characters to aim for, and general opinions on the current roster of the game. But before we do that, I want to first let you guys know that if you have a favorite character because of their looks or designs, just go for that and just don't worry too much about rerolling, because I feel like after playing for a while on Guardian Tales, I feel like Guardian Tales is about having fun, it's about progressing through the story and experience what the character interactions and what the developers has lovingly prepared for us. So except for certain stages in I guess towers and maybe some higher difficulty nightmare stages, you can pretty much beat any level with any combination of characters as long as you have high enough stats and equipments. However, if you do want to chase power and you want to cruise through the game easier, then you will want to aim for a character exclusive weapon from the weapon summons. And right now you guys might be asking, hey, hold up, how come you're talking about weapons? Well, aren't we going to be talking about characters and which characters to pull? Well, not really, because I'm going to explain to you guys right now the mindset behind pulling weapons instead of pulling characters. So as far as banners go in this game, there's only 2% chance to summon 3-star characters. However, there is a 3% chance to roll a 5-star weapon. So the fact that weapons and character cost the same amount of mileage, which you can get the more you summon, you can try to get the weapon first when you're re-rolling, and then exchange for the character later as you progress through the main story's mileage. Statistically speaking, this is a more efficient way to spend your gems or reroll. And then there's the issue with awakening materials. Since they are very limited the further you get into the game, it doesn't matter how many cool 3-stars you pick up, you won't really be able to level them all up enough to hold their own in later levels. You'll definitely need to funnel your resources on certain characters to be able to progress smoothly. So, which means that a lot of your other characters are just going to sit in your inn and collect dust. And there's the fact that weapons can be used by other units. Remember what I said, you can beat the game with any characters? Well, if you have a 5-star weapon, even without a corresponding owner, you can still put it on another character and it will perform pretty well. So on the other hand, some 3-star characters without the exclusive weapons are very lackluster. They're just kind of shinier versions of other characters. So I know it's hard to do, I know it's everyone wants new waifus, I understand the agony everyone has to go through every time we pull for weapons instead of waifus, but trust me, weapons are worth it in the long run. Alright, so now that we got that over with, let's quickly go over how to reroll. It's super painful, but I guess if you're up for it, all you need to do is reinstall the game and make your way to World 1-4 again, and then see what rifts and achievements you can do to scrape up the last of the gems that you need to reach 2700 gems, and then you can do the summons for weapons, preferably. If you're focused and you speed through the process, it'll still take about 30 minutes, give or take. Alright, so now that you know how to reroll, let's go over some of the scenarios where you should feel pretty comfortable to actually start progressing or start playing the game. If you pulled for characters, these 4 characters are very safe bets. Grand Admiral Marina, she's a tank, but her damage output is very respectable, enough to hard carry you through the entire game. She can crowd control, she can taunt, deal AoE damage, and is tough as a rock with her 30% defense buff. Very meta in both PvE and PvP scenes. Her exclusive weapon makes her crowd control ability hit a larger range, and very annoying to deal with in PvP. And then there's Executive Red Hood Arabelle, savage AoE DPS with insanely high damage. Her exclusive weapon makes her fire even more savage AoE attacks, so basically just a very brutal and hard-hitting character overall. And then there's Flower Girl Berry, hands down the highest DPS character in the game currently. Only downside is that her attack speed is somewhat low and feels a bit clunky while playing. However, if you're able to get her exclusive weapon, it will make her feel much better to play, as her exclusive weapon gives her the ability to fire extra projectiles at enemies. Lastly, there's movie star Eugene. Doesn't need her exclusive weapon to work well, her exclusive weapon just gives her ability to shoot bullets at long range enemies and give her more damage overall. Not to mention she rides a cool bike around. So all of the characters mentioned above all have very strong party-wide buffs, except for Red Hood Arabelle. Her party buff is limited for dark element attacks only. If you pull for weapons instead of characters, you're a very high IQ individual, and I respect you. I commend you for holding back your urges to chase these waifus. Anyways, the idea is similar for weapons. Get an exclusive weapon, since most of it is, if not all exclusive weapons are very useful. However, if you're lucky enough to pull a exclusive weapon for these 4 characters that I mentioned earlier, there's no doubt you should just start the game. Lastly, I want to just kind of go over the rest of the 3-star rosters that I didn't mention earlier. Keep in mind, it's coming from the perspective of a new player and how well that character will enable a new player to progress early on in the game. Oh, also, since this is a reroll tier list, I won't be going over 2-star and other free characters that you obtain from the main story. Those will probably be in another video later on. If you want to see that, you can also comment in the comments below. Anyways, the tier list will mainly feature icons to characters. Just keep in mind, if you draw their weapon, it's the same idea. I'm going to put a tier list up on the screen now, so you can get a bit of an idea visually as I go through these characters. Alright, 3, 2, 1, here it is. Alright, so Marina is the best waifu ever in the universe, hands down, no contest. And thank you for watching, and as always, I'm just messing with you guys. We'll start again. This time we'll start at the top and then work our way towards the bottom. This is the new tier list. SS tier is no surprise, the 3 giants of Guardian Tales as explained earlier, Marina, Arabelle, and Barry. If you want to know why, I guess go back in the video or go earlier in the video, and then I think I've talked about it enough. And then there's S tier, Clitovis. She's free later in the story, she's tanky, she can heal, and she brings the deeps. Makes everyone's life easy for both PvP and PvE. If you pull her weapon, you should feel comfortable to start the game. However, if you pull her character, I would strongly advise you to reroll again, because I think that's a wasted 3-star potential. Anyways, Tinia, the newest addition to Guardian Tales roster, very strong overall, especially when paired with her exclusive weapon, and her ability to lower incoming damage from monsters make her a very good unit defensively, as well as her ability to decrease enemy defense makes her a very valuable addition to your team. However, keep in mind her party buff only works for ranged attacks, so it's a bit more difficult to set up a all-ranged team around her, unless you already have characters like Arabelle and Barry or Hecate, those types of powerhouse ranged characters. And it's also the reason why I didn't put her in the SS tier list. And then there's Lawn, a very rounded support, also deals moderate amount of damage. She heals with her chain skill and her special ability. It's very nice for less heal intensive fights, or paired with characters that can hold their own. Also increases everyone HP by 40% when maxed out, making her very desirable for any party. Alright, we're gonna skip Eugene since we already talked about her earlier. And then there's Lapis. Tanky enough and brings damage to the table, requires a bit more skill or more attention to keep her combo count up to maintain her damage output before getting her exclusive weapon, since her exclusive weapon makes her stacks stay at level 3 when it starts, so that's pretty cool. Her exclusive weapon is definitely not necessary to make her work, just keep that in mind. And then there's Lupina, not a friendly unit for newer players, even though she summons like really cool wolves to attack enemies, but she only performs best after you invest in her and have maxed her limit break. So I would not recommend it, as without enough investment in her, it just feels a bit awkward to play. And there's Eva, or Eva, or I think it's Eva, another support and DPS hybrid. Very nice for certain occasions, for niche teams, I guess full basic attack, same element, stacking buff team. But it's definitely not a hard carry like some of the other characters, so I would not really recommend her. Alright, so that about does it for this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope this video has given you guys some idea of which character to aim for when starting out fresh. If you'll like more Guardian Tales content, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell. As always, have fun, keep up the grind, and take care.